All right, welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We'll be diving right into our discussion segment, and this morning we'll be looking at Nigeria's political scene. Now, as Nigeria moves closer to the 2027 general elections, the political landscape continues to spark intense debate. Now, one of the key opposition parties, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, has accused the federal government and the ruling APC of orchestrating a campaign of persecution and intimidation against its key members. Now, through its National Publicity Secretary, Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, the party has raised concerns about selective law enforcement, pointing to investigations and legal actions against prominent figures, including former Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, former Attorney General Abubakar Malami, and former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai as evidence of political targeting. Now, the ADC also alleges coercion of state executives and claims that senior federal officials have summoned party leaders to secret meetings in an effort to destabilize the party ahead of the elections. Now, at the same time, the ADC faces internal challenges, leadership disputes, takeover allegations and factional divisions have emerged, with some long-standing members resisting the party's alignment with broader opposition coalition. Now, yet, the party has remained ambitious, launching a drive to register 14 million members in an effort to consolidate its position as a hub for opposition forces. Joining us today to discuss these developments is Malam Lawal Batagarawa, an academic, former Minister of Education, former Minister of State Defense, and senior chieftain of the ADC. We'll explore whether these claims of persecution hold water, the party's internal challenges, and what it means for Nigeria's opposition ahead of 2027. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. All right, let us look at the broader picture now. Looking at what is going on in the political scene, how would you describe the current state of opposition politics in Nigeria as we approach 2027 election, especially as the ADC is accusing the ruling party, which is the APC, and the government as well, of targeting them specifically?
Okay, let's take them one by one at a time. Let's talk about the targeting. When you have three key political actors, all of them coming from the most populous zone of the Northwest, Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, the former governor of Sokoto State, Abubakar Malami from the adjacent state of Kebbi State, Nasir El-Rufai from Kaduna State. You can see this is very systematic. Let us destabilize the political space within the most populous zone of the country. If you are going to win an election in Nigeria today, the votes are from the northwest zone of the country become a very significant issue. So this is deliberate. However, we are also a law-abiding party. We believe in the rule of law because that is the basis of sound, reliable, consistent democracy. Without an effective judiciary, an effective legislature, then you are not having a democracy. So given these facts, in spite of the, over and above the targeting, we are also demanding that the ruling party operates on the basis of rule of law, operating within the Constitution and the legal framework.
All right, I'd like to pick on what you said, that the targeting is due to the fact that elections are coming and due to the numbers that they might contribute to the ADC when election time comes. Now, let us look at all the allegations against the former governor of Sokoto State, the former Attorney General, as well as El-Rufai. Now, specifically, let's look at this recent one, former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai. The few allegations that might hold water due to the fact that they were, I would say, statements made by the former Kaduna State Governor. Now, do you think that it is only right that the government holds people accountable when the law is being broken and not necessarily be seen as being targeted?
You see, so there is a thin margin that you have to be very careful about. Nasiru is accused of making a public statement which is said to have broken the law. Now, but there is a very serious problem there. The Nigerian legal system considers everybody innocent until proven guilty before a competent court of competent jurisdiction. Before you do that, an allegation is an allegation. And Nasiru, and like every other Nigerian, is entitled to be treated fairly before the law. But if you try to make that in the statement he has made as a finality of being guilty, that is wrong. You cannot judge a person outside a competent court. So that's the point we are making. Nasiru is entitled to be treated like any other Nigerian and be given the full protection that the law allows him to be, irrespective of what he says.
Due process is not being followed.
Due process is not being followed. It is not only that it has to be followed, but it should be seen to be followed openly, transparently, and most importantly, fairly. Before that, you cannot decide a person is guilty or not guilty.
So some critics and some Nigerians, might say raising these claims could energize your supporters ahead of 2027. So some people might even say, oh, the ADC is looking for somewhat a sympathy from Nigerians based on, these allegations that are being labeled on the people in that party. So is this purely about defending democracy, or it is about political strategy? Because Nigerians are saying that from everything that they have seen from the opposition, it's like the opposition are a bit weak. They are not ready, for the journey ahead come 2027, and they're looking for, ways and means to buy sympathy from supporters, from Nigerians, and that's why they're pegging these allegations as being targeted.
So, basically what you are saying is that we are being cynical. We are not cynical. I have made the statement very clearly from the beginning. We are law-abiding institution. Our party is law-abiding, and we will do everything to operate within the law. Now, but that should be for all Nigerians. What we are saying is that this is a government that treats law, treats institution with contempt. Clear? So, but that is not a good way to operate a democracy, especially in a country which has so many fault lines. The government must always be very clear in terms to be seen to be fair and just, because those are the basis that will promote the feeling of belonging, feeling of sense of I am there, I am a human being, I am respected as a Nigerian by my Nigerian government. But if the government begins to do things that are so, you can question them, purely by just looking at them on the surface, you can see they don't stand. They don't have real foundation, then there is a problem. So we are not a cynical organization. We are a very serious party. We believe that we have the capacity, we have the ability to win the election in 2027 once it is conducted freely, fairly. So we don't have to resort to cynicism to gain sympathy. We want to get support, yes, but we are going to look for support on the basis of what we believe Nigeria requires.
All right. Now, you said the ADC has the capacity and the capabilities of winning the 2027 elections,
yes,
if it is a free and fair election. Now, at this point, where does the ADC stand? What is its trajectory? What are the plans? What should Nigerians prepare to see? Mm-hmm. Has the ADC made a decision? The primaries are just around the corner. Has the ADC made a decision on who is going to contest? We are hearing issues of internal disputes. So what confidence would you give Nigerians that, yes, the ADC is a stronghold and it can stand on its feet when it comes 2027?
Okay, so let's start from the foundation. The basic foundation of building the coalition that transforms into ADC was on the fact that, look, we are in a very difficult situation as a country, Nigeria, and we need to ensure that things do not degenerate further than where they are today. In order to do that, you must get all the opposition figures to come together and sit in one place and agree to move together. That is the foundation. And everybody who has an ambition will subordinate their ambition until a strong, visibly strong party emerges. And then you will put a process that will generate leaders. And all those who succeed, others who lose, must support them unconditionally. Because the process you will put together, you will put up, will be free, fair, and transparent. That's what we are working on. So the issue of the visibility of prospective people who want to stand for election does not negate that basic principles on the basis of which we are standing. We are all clear. There are many people who are looking for offices. It's not just at the president, because most people pay attention to the president. No, but a member of the State House Assembly, you need good quality people, because without good quality legislature at the state level, nobody can hold the governor accountable. Without a solid legislature at the national level, nobody can hold the president accountable.
And I'd like to interject, you made mention of transparency. Now, to most of us, I would say, in Nigerians, there's a semblance of a secrecy when it comes to ADC and its plans towards 2027. Mm-hmm. So there isn't a clear picture of what is going on and how the ADC is going to carry out its affairs. There's a lot of speculations going on, and it is only right for Nigerians to at least be able to understand or have an inkling of what is going on in the ADC. So what would you say about that?
No, so I'll put the question back to you. If you say there's so much secrecy and it looks like, so you have to be very clear. What are you saying? If you make a statement, you are not, there is a lot of secrecy. That's so tell me what is the secrecy you are seeing.
When it
so
comes
that
to internal conflict that is going on in the ADC,
Absolutely.
when it comes to being able to understand who are going to be viable for being contesting for the elections, that needs to be on the table. There needs to be a clear picture of what is going on.
So let's separate two things. Who and who can be a contestant? I have already told you the basis and the foundation on which we built the ADC. We'll put a process through. So that's one. Two, when we are talking of internal conflict, okay, there is no organization in the world which has no internal conflict. We have a conflict resolution mechanism within the party. We do not have to advise it because our opponents can use it also against us. But we have a robust conflict resolution mechanisms, and you can see some of the things you are talking about, they get resolved. We don't have to come out into the market space and say that there is conflict between Maimuna and Hauwa and this is how we are going to do it. Resolution of conflict is a matter of give and take, and it is best done outside the glare of publicity. Because if you go out in the public to do it, everybody will take a posture. That does not allow for conflict resolution. So we are not saying we don't have a conflict. There is no organization in the world without a conflict, but we are having a robust conflict resolution mechanism, which is internal to us, and we are not going to go to the marketplace and start shouting about it.
Now, talking about these allegations by the ADC to, should I say, the present-day administration as to them, targeting the ADC, have you taken any formal legal steps, petitions, court filing, complaints to oversight bodies, so that when these things are there, Nigerians will understand that, yes, the ADC was able to, hold the attention of the judicial system as to saying that, we're being targeted here as an opposition party. Has there been steps towards that from the ADC?
There is an ongoing work on that issue.
Okay.
All right. Okay. But look, let us not become so consumed about just the internal discussion about ADC. Why did we put ADC up? It's not just because we want to have a party. It's not just because we want to stand for election. No, we are saying that we want to move Nigeria forward. So let's talk about Nigeria, because the whole essence of putting the party is to retrieve Nigeria's standing as a country, as a member of the international community, as a nation. Not some lapdog of the French imperialism, but as a solid country with a very clear stand on international issues, with a robust economy. So let me go there, because I think that is a more interesting discussion.
All right. Now, we've seen that the ADC has an ambitious target of registering 14 million members. How does the ADC plan to do that at this time? And I know it is a crucial and important step for the ADC.
Okay. There are two ways of registering in the ADC. One is the online registration. The portal is there and everybody can access it. There is also the manual registration. So given these two, and given that you are looking at 36 states, a large number, 774 local governments, in each local government you have anything between 10 to 12 wards. So when you distribute it and you distribute this number, you'll find that this number is relatively small by the time it gets to the level of polling booth. You are talking of maybe 200, 300, 400 people per polling booth. So when you look at the figure globally, it looks big. By the time you break it down to the lowest level. I don't have the breakdown of how many wards are there, how many polling booths, but if I can recall correctly, there are probably probably around close to 9,000 wards. Then the local polling booths are much bigger than that. When you break it down to those details, you will see that the numbers at the local level are relatively small.
Now, how do you think the level of Nigerians' reception of the ADC is? And in what way is the ADC showing that, yes, they are one stronghold that is able to take it home in 2027 and be able to deliver after the elections as well?
Okay. So let me reverse that statement and do it from the other way.
All right.
Okay. First of all, as an ADC, we believe that there are 5 key sectors that we should look at globally. Number 1, security and peaceful coexistence. Now, security and peaceful coexistence. Security and peace are 2 sides of the same coin. And today, the insecurity in Nigeria impacts negatively on everybody. It impacts on peaceful coexistence only because, so security and peaceful coexistence is one term, is one item. The second, related, coming immediately after that, is national unity and nation building. Now, there is a difference between national unity and nation building. Nation building is a process. It goes from stage to stage. Now, the foundation of national unity is inclusiveness, participation. Now, but inclusiveness and participation is also not solid if the economy is not strong. So this issue of inclusiveness, it has to be seen with the important issue of rebuilding the Nigerian economy, and in such a way that it will continue to grow and continue to expand and absorb more and more people out of poverty. So that's the second item. Then coming with that is the economy, which I have mentioned, because it is critical. Then the fourth item is education, health, and human capital development. You cannot continue the process of nation building. You cannot continue to grow the economy without an educated, capable hands that can perceive things in a different way and manage things, because as the economy expands, you have to put bureaucracy to manage single units. Trust is now a big company. It has a bureaucratic structure which requires accountants, which requires administrators, which requires human resources. All that. So for any economy, having institutions like trust must be there, and they cannot be run, the bureaucracy cannot be run without an educated human beings. So that's, now, education is not enough. The population has to be healthy. If you are educated and every day your leg is paining, your hand is paining, then you are not given the optimum that you can do. So education, health, and human capital development, they go together. Finally, international relations. No country lives in an isolation. Let's look at it. Nigeria, we are bounded by Cameroons in the east, Chad, Niger, Benin. Our economy to grow we need to also be these other countries to be with us, growing together with us, because even if we grow and there is a problem of hunger and insecurity in Nigeria, it will affect us. Or in Cameroon, it will affect us. Or in Chad, it will affect us. Or in Benin, it will affect. So that is the beginning. These are our immediate neighbors. So Africa is a critical component of our international relations. We need to relate to other parts of the world for our economy to grow, for our education to expand, for our health facilities to be of international standard. We need to to borrow some things. We need to imbibe some other things from other people. So these are the 5 core areas that we are looking at. The Malam Bolaji Abdullahi that you have talked about and his team, they will be talking about these things as we go along.
Now, back to Nigerians' reception of the ADC and, the confidence that the ADC might be able to see in what Nigerians feel about it. I'd like to hear feedback on that as well.
The confidence of... Okay.
Nigerians' reception of the ADC. Do you think Nigerians are receiving the ADC as much as the ADC would want it to be?
We are quite comfortable with the reception we are getting in different states, in different local governments. The enthusiasm that we see people showing to come forward and register is an indication of how they feel about the party. So that's one side. The second, you see, Nigeria is made up of a number of different social groups. Drivers, it's a social, it's a trade group. So we are looking at these trade groups, we are having a discussion with them, and they feel comfortable to come and join us. If you go to the local community, every market you go to, there are people who are selling grains. There are people who are selling meat. There are people, all these groupings. We are saying to them, look, we are all partners in progress, so we have to work together. And our discussion that is taking place is giving us that comfort that we are moving in the right direction. And we are getting the response and the support of the people. As I said, these are not things that you will always come and discuss on a television or in the marketplace. It constitutes part of your hidden strategy. You are not going to expose your entire strategy of how you are going to win an election. But the point is that social groupings we are having discussions with are quite comfortable with us, are committing themselves to support us. It is this support we are getting from them that is giving us the confidence to say, when there is a free and fair election, APC government is gone.
Right, let's talk about the electoral system. I mean, looking at the recently signed Electoral Act 2026 by the president, do you think it favors, the ruling party rather than the opposition party?
Okay. Look, I'm not going to whine. I'm not. We don't go there. Look, they think that they have put a law that will give them, that will favor them. Okay? Where we think the law is unconstitutional or it will limit deepening democracy, we'll challenge that. We'll work against that. But otherwise, the most important thing is for us to keep pushing forward for the preparation of 2027 election, rather than twine. No. Let's move. We are moving forward. Look, they will do all kinds of tricks which they think they can get away with to ensure that they come back into office. We are ready for that. We'll deal with it as it comes. And as I keep saying to you, it is not everything that we are doing behind closed doors that will come onto the media and say what we are saying to Nigerians. whatever the shortcomings, whatever the hurdles they are putting in our way by the law, we'll do everything with legal means to deal with that, to ensure it doesn't impede our progress. Our progress is that we should defeat APC and stop this rot that is continuing in the Nigerian space and move Nigeria forward. We have a beautiful country with top-class human beings, capable. APC is dragging us. The All Progressive Congress is dragging us backward into a pit. We are saying that that's enough. Let's move forward. Okay, so they have put a law. They are thinking that they have put booby traps. We'll look at this, what they consider booby traps, and see how does it affect us. How do we move around that in spite of that? So that's where we are. We'll keep moving forward. We will talk of what we think is bad. We have made a statement. We have put out a statement in conjunction with other political parties in terms of what we consider is wrong with the new Electoral Act. So our position on that matter is that it has already been addressed in that press conference. Okay? But what we can do internally to ameliorate those negatives, we are working on it.
Right. Now, let's look at the realities that might be on ground when 2027 general elections comes. A lot of Nigerians have said that there might be an issue for the ADC when it comes to the ballot paper of, mistaking APC for ADC or ADC for APC on the ballot paper, even though the logos might be different, but, the letters and of the parties might be similar. Now, that aside, when it comes to the Electoral Amendment Act and electronic transmission of results, some might say that if boots are not on ground, making sure that the integrity of that election is not upheld, then there might be an issue when it comes to being able to have a free and fair elections. So is the ADC going to have boots on ground, making sure and safeguarding the integrity of the elections?
The answer to that is yes. But let me also take up another issue. You see, this government of APC is so dishonest. They can track everybody electronically to pay tax. Okay? But they cannot afford to have an election electronically. What kind of dishonesty is this? So, you see, that's the whole point. You are dealing with a party and officials who are pathological liars. They lie to themselves, they lie to us all the time. Things that they can do easily. When it is convenient for them, they say, no, it cannot be done. The communication system can collect information, even if there is a breakdown of service at that point in time. It is stored. The moment you restore the moment you restore service, the information goes out. When it's simple. When you send WhatsApp to her and she's in an area of no service, she won't get that WhatsApp at the time you send it. But the moment her service is restored, that information drops. That's all we are saying. Let there be electronic transfer of votes. Okay? They are saying, oh, there may be a breakdown in service. True. But the service will be restored in any event.
Right.
Wait, don't ask. In any event, I'm not, I'm ashamed to say what I'm going to say. I'm literally computer illiterate. But I've been made to understand that one of these big tech companies have provided a satellite up there in the air. And for as long as you touch something, and that information will go to it and it will come back to any place it is. whether it is Bozos or whatever. Anyway, these are a different issue. I'm not technically competent to talk about those issues, so I should not put myself into a situation where I cannot talk properly.
All right. Okay, so before we go, finally, what would you say?
No, sorry, before you come. So, but what I am saying, especially you young people, you know what they are saying is not true. You know that you can actually electronically transfer information of every voter, real time, on time, the moment the voting takes place. For them to insist, oh, no, like you all know, we all know, it's a lie. So I want to make that point very clear.
All right, before we go, time is against us. What would you say to viewers concerned that Nigeria is tilting towards a one-party state? What would you say, give hope and belief to Nigerians at this point?
You see, stopping the country sliding to a completely one-party state is the responsibility of all of us. The civil liberties organization, the media, you carry the greatest responsibility. Why? In talking about this, you have greater credibility than us as politicians. Let's be honest about it. What you will say about the country sliding into one party carries greater weight than what when I say it. Because we will say, oh, no, because he is feeling weak, he can't contest, so that's why he's making that statement. But there is a reality there, and all of us are looking at it. It is in our own objective interest to ensure the democratic space is perpetually being opened, is perpetually being widened. You are involved. There is muzzling of the press. So this free speech is taken away from people. Now, I have as much responsibility as you have in ensuring that we work together to ensure that this democratic stays. All organizations, labor unions, trade organizations, civil liberties organizations, NGOs, we all need this democratic space to remain open and wide, so it is our responsibility collectively. We can provide the leadership as a political party. We are willing to do that. We are ready to do that. We are going to do that. But we need the support of everybody to come along with us.
All right. And thank you very much, Malam Lawal Batagarawa, for shedding more light on the state of the ADC at this point in Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
All right. Now, that is all we have for this segment. We'll be going on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be looking at the front pages of our national dailies and see what made it there. So make sure you stay tuned right here on Daybreak. We'll be right back.